Thanks for popping in and making some soap with me today. Let's just go ahead and dive in and get started, right? Okay, we have everything all like pre-measured out for us. I am actually going to pour and mix everything in this like tall pitcher because I know it's going to be easy for me to pour with my left hand. All right, let's go over what we've got. So I'm using my go-to vegan palm-free recipe, and here's the coconut oil. I did warm it up in the microwave, even though it's so warm here. It was rock solid. Then also I modified this one with the shea butter. So this modification, it's up in the recipe as well over at soapyfriends.com. When you get the go-to vegan palm-free recipe, you also get I think 2 modifications to it. There might be 3. I don't remember what I put in there now. But one of them includes the shea butter and some other fun little tricks with it. And it works so well. It makes this really, really creamy, shaveable lather. Absolutely love shea butter in my modification options here. All right, now for the fun part is we're going to make this soap green. Now, natural greens fade. There's just no way around that. Spirulina, chlorella, alfalfa is pretty good for some nice pale greens, and they do have a decent staying power, but not as much as blended greens. Now, in my book, I go into more detail about blending and how to, adjust ratios and all that fun stuff. But for today, we're doing almost a 50-50 split. I have some indigo infused oil. So let's put that in. And I hope, let me move that out. So I'm going to pour, and as I pour, you should be able to see the lovely blue on this a little bit. See that? See how pretty that is? It's a lovely blue. Now, this is Indigofera tinctoria. This is not any of the other indigos. Any of the other indigos are not going to give you the same blues, and my blending does base itself on this type of indigo and this blue. Now, if we all think back to kindergarten, you're going to remember that yellow and blue make green. And I do have you up over here on my phone for comments, so thanks for popping in, everyone. And a lovely yellow is annatto. So we have our yellow, we have our blue, and we're going to get green. That, my Soapy friends, is like the down and dirty essence to natural color blending. I know this looks orange right now, but it's going to come out yellow, which will give us our green. The photo, that was the cover photo for this live stream. Those soaps, you see that cut on them, they are my little mini event guest soaps, and we're going to be cutting these the same way as well. Okay, so we've got everything in there. I think I made that other batch. That had to be about 4 years ago. Now this might get a little murky looking, and that's because indigo, even though it looked lovely blue here, right? Isn't that pretty? Look at that. It takes a couple of days to a week to really what I call bloom. And we're actually going to be doing a 6-month color update on the Always Indigo Masterclass. I'm just going to add the lavender essential oil. And on those color updates, we do side-by-side comparisons of photos, and I do these groovy little mashups of the soaps. So I have the same soap the day we made it, and then I have a photo with the exact same staging and everything of the soap, however much, further in the future we did it. So in this case, it's the day they came out of the mold versus 6 months later. And the indigo does not fade. It blooms. It gets more intense. It gets bluer. When they come out of the mold, yeah, they look, blue, but you're like, oh, well, would have been better. But just wait. What I'm getting at is just wait. Just wait like 3 days to a week, and you'll get your final color. I had some soaps that were a green blend, much like this one. And let me tell you, I was just so upset with them. And that was on, I think, like day 2. I was so sad. And I just set them away. I'm like, well, I'll go figure out what happened later. And a week later, oh my goodness, they were perfect. They were the exact kind of lime green I was looking for. It was awesome. Okay, so this is the mold I used for my little mini guest soaps. Chris Howells over at Howells Products made it for me. And I just line it with some freezer paper, pour right into it, and it lets me cut these kind of like little mini tall and skinnies. Look at that. Okay, I know. It's like, maybe kind of like, okay, I'm going to say it. It looks a little baby poopish, right? Don't worry, that indigo will bloom. It really, really, really well bloom. If we did not have the indigo in here, or I'm sorry, if we did not have the annatto in here, this would be kind of a light gray, maybe steel color, and we'd be sad that maybe our indigo was not strong enough. But once we wait a day or two, it will be. And let me show you. These soaps, I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It's about some of these colors. So, see, these are from the anti-alkanet. I'm going to move that away. I want to be able to center that. And I have them out because we're doing a color update class on them on Wednesday. That's if you're a member of the class, you already got the emails, and all members are invited to it as well. Okay, so this beautiful light blue here, that is a really, really light application. This is as much blue as I just put into the soap we just made. I mean, it's really, really light. And remember, we said yellows and blues make greens. And I know this class is all about purples, but it was also, we really did a deep dive into color blending. And you see, green. And this green soap, all these soaps here, they're a year old. Well, actually, they're over a year old. This was April 13th. 2023 was when we did these. So here's, your concept of your yellow and blue making green. See what I'm getting at here? And this was not a beautiful, lovely green when it was wet. It was like this murkiness. Okay, it's getting a little less baby poop looking, but it's still, it's crazy. You don't think that that's going to happen, right? Soap, it's just color magic with just like, you take your plants and, oh, just so cool. I'm going to give this just a little bit more of a burst. I just want it a little bit thicker when I pour it. Now, this recipe, it's super slow moving, and I did that on purpose because it really gives me a lot of flexibility, but it's super slow moving. If you don't heat it up, then it does take longer to bring it to trace. I do talk about that in the recipe tutorial. And I mean, it's warm in there. It's thicker. So what I'll do is after we're done here and we pour it, and we pour this in the mold, we say goodbye. I'm going to do my dishes, and then after dishes, This will have thickened up enough to do a nice little textured top on it. And I'm not going to do anything too fancy because these bars get cut to just a 1/2 inch thick. So there's not a lot of soap top even exposed on them, but they sure do look pretty when they're poking out of their little wrappers. Look at that. Look at that. Filling it up exactly. I ran these through the soap mold conversion worksheet when I got them, my molds. If you have SoapMaker 3 Pro, that will do the math for you too. But I actually use this mold to quadruple check all the math on those tutorial worksheets that I put together for you. Okay, so see, it doesn't look like that bright green, right? But don't worry. It will. I promise it will. Look at that. Yay, we made soap. Happy soaping, and I'll see you on Wednesday, the members only Zoom session, where we are also doubling up and doing the anti-alkanut masterclass 1-year color update. We'll talk more about those soaps I showed you earlier and lots of color blending. Have a fabulous soapy week and happy soaping.